I actually think it's one of the best things that ever happened to YouTube. Ever. Everyone calls PewDiePie the undisputed king of YouTube. But after a decade of scandals, sub-wars, and a weird retirement in Japan, we have to ask, is the king valid, or has he been tapped this entire time? In the pilot episode, I broke down why the fans had turned on Stranger Things. Since then, we've now evolved the format, and you're going to be seeing that today. We are putting Felix's entire legacy on trial over 3 high-stakes rounds.
That's right, we're hitting the receipts, his controversies, the Hall of Fame, his legacy, and the blueprint, his cultural influence. By the end, we'll have a definitive score to see whether he's still the GOAT or if he's lost the plot.
Ooh. We have researched moments of his career in which he probably wants deleted. And in round 3, we are going to be going over a hidden theory about his retirement and which may change your mind about him entirely. Let's get into it. Right, we are at round 1, the receipts. In 2017, Felix used Fiverr, it's a labor distribution platform, to see how far people would go for money, resulting in a highly offensive piece of content. That's where the chaps held up that sign that said death to all the people from the religion.
Yeah. Of course.
He claimed it was a critique of modern labour. The media called it hate speech. And that was where Wall Street Journal, it was the Wall Street Journal, so they started putting out hate speeches about him. And during all this time, there was also some other clips on his channel. For example, there was the clips of him wearing a British Army outfit, because he used to live in the UK, didn't he?
Yes.
So he was wearing this British Army outfit, and they were posting it online as if he was wearing a Nazi outfit.
Right.
And he had one of the biggest media journalism companies in the entire world going around saying he was an absolute Nazi. Like an actual Nazi.
Yeah.
They were saying he was wearing the outfits, but he was actually wearing, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was a colonel outfit from the British Army.
Right. Yeah.
They were going around saying he was a Nazi. But, so what he was trying to do, he went on there and he was saying, right, I'm going to prove that they will do whatever I tell them to do. That was the whole point of the video.
Yeah.
So he wasn't actually saying unalive to all religious people of this certain group.
Yeah.
He was basically using shock value to prove a point about society.
Yeah.
But is it valid that he even tried to put that in a video with his impressionable fans, young people and stuff like that? He knew exactly what he was trying to get them to say, so he chose for them to say it. But was the point he was trying to make, does it make it valid? Or is the fact that he was willing to put that in content in the first place tapped?
Yeah. I think it's quite a difficult situation because in doing what he's done, he has proven that you can just go out there and put anything you want on the internet, or you can pay for anything you want realistically. In doing so, yes, like it's tapped to make such a point out of it. You've then put yourself right in the middle of controversy, but at the same time, you've literally proven the point you wanted to prove.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was trying to make a point that we were getting to a point. I think it's a censorship thing. Think about it. I think he was just trying to say that on the internet there seems to be different rules to the societal way in which you walk around the street with.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I would say him being willing to put that in his video, uncensored and all that.
Yeah.
Yes, did it prove a point? Yes, it did, sure. Yeah. But did it also prove more of a point about him? He was willing for that content to be in his video.
Yeah.
Fun YouTube videos. People watch these videos to laugh. They didn't watch these videos to go, oh my goodness, is that true? My whole life is now different. I'm not going to be able to look at these people the same way.
Yeah.
And yeah, from his platform and his influence, it's good to now and then put a message out like that. Sure. But the actual message in which he did send out, I think, conveyed differently to what he was aiming for.
Yeah.
I think he went for shock horror humor. Oh my god, I can't believe this has just been uploaded. Instead of, here's my point, they will do whatever.
Yeah.
Don't take everything you see from face value. You know what I mean? So I think what he was going for was valid.
Yeah.
But I think his approach was tapped. So I'm going to go tapped.
Yeah, there was definitely a much better way he could have gone about trying to prove this point, because we don't need to bring religion into it.
You wait until I'm done.
No.
I'm joking.
But for the reasons we've stated, I'm going to say the situation was tapped.
Okay. Right, now we're moving on to one of his most infamous things, and there isn't many people that don't know about this one.
Yeah.
Whether you love him, whether you hate him, it's sort of like Marmite in a way. But whether you love him or hate him, you know about this,
Yeah.
right? So you got the infamous heated gaming moment, the bridge. The infamous PUBG bridge clip. It wasn't a joke, it was a slip of the tongue that triggered the Adpocalypse and changed YouTube's rules forever. Can a legacy be valid if its most famous moment is its most shameful?
Ooh.
That is the debate.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just going to say it out there. I have a quite wild opinion when it comes to this story. I actually think it's one of the best things that ever happened to YouTube. Ever. I'm not defending the actual moment itself.
No.
Should he have said what he said?
Absolutely not.
No, I'm joking.
No.
No, I'm joking. No, but at the end of the day, you got to think back in that sort of era, because this was, when was that? That was like sort of 2016, 2017 time, wasn't it? It was around that sort of era, wasn't it? You got to think around that time you had like the leafiest hair people, commentary style videos were the biggest thing on the platform. Well, they weren't the biggest, but they were getting millions of views every single day where people were just going around pretty much bullying people, for being cringe, this, that, and the other, right? I mean, people deserve critique. The critique should not leave the platform. That is 100% a fact. If you try and remove that, all you're doing is censoring people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there does need to be a limit of where you can go with it.
Absolutely.
And that is what this moment, in my opinion, spawned, because it was what made them have to change the policies and get tighter on the rules so that things like this didn't happen again, because YouTube lost probably millions that year.
Yeah.
Because none of the big boys wanted to put their money into it. So it's like, I can't be associated with that.
Yeah.
Because PewDiePie was the figurehead of the company at that point, where you fought YouTube, you fought PewDiePie.
Yeah.
Nowadays you'll think Mr. Beast, but PewDiePie's still in the back of your head.
Yeah.
That's how pivotal he is. So there's like a 300 million subscriber difference between him and Mr. Beast now, but you still put him in that same sentence.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because of how long he was basically in charge for.
Yeah.
He ran the show.
It's one of those things. It's like he's got the thing of longevity, and that's why he's popular, because he was able to get popular when YouTube wasn't even really considered something you could do for work. It was just everyone did it for fun.
Yeah.
So to have a moment like this where all these big companies are actually going, oh, this is doing something for us, and then something controversial happens, and go, oh, never mind, I'm gonna back out.
Yeah.
So it kind of wrecks a big kind of cycle going between advertising companies, YouTubers. It's a vicious cycle. So
that's it. A lot of people lost money.
Yeah.
The platform itself and a lot of creators lost a lot of money because of this one specific moment.
Yeah.
Well, I say this one. It was a few things added into one, but this was the creme de la creme. The moment that the advertisers went, nah, I can't do this anymore. Don't do me like that. I can't have my drink associated with that, man. No. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I think it's one of the best things that ever happened to the platform. Because I've been watching our podcasts and stuff recently. For example, can't remember. I'll put a screenshot on the screen of what it was. But it was this podcast where they have a drink, and it involved basically I Do Work, who's a member of the Vanos crew, the gaming lot. And he was pretty much saying that 100k today on a consistent basis is earning more money than when he was getting 1 million views back in the day.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, because of the tighter policies and because of this and because of that, YouTube now makes more money, creators now make more money.
Yeah.
There's more people that are making money.
Yeah.
So it went from the Wild West to a controlled media outlet.
Yes.
When it comes to like TV and broadcast and stuff like that, they've got specific rules. You can't say this, you can't do this, you can't say this, you can't say that. For example, I was just watching Mr. Beast appearing on the Jimmy Fallon show, and Jimmy made the joke of not Jimmy Mr. Beast, but Jimmy Mr. Fallon.
Oh,
Mr. Fallon.
Mr. Fallon versus Mr. Beast.
He was pretty much saying that if he came into work with a certain pair of shoes, he'd have to get it approved to go on TV from NBC, because for all he knows, they might have a sponsorship with the shoe company in which he was meant to be wearing. So if you had like the opposite brand, it might break the contract. You know what I mean? So there's all these things you have to think about. But with YouTube, it was just post your content, we'll pay you for it. Don't care what you say, as long as you make money. You've got to have rules behind it. There has got to be regulations.
Yeah.
Censorship's one thing, you know, but
Yeah.
there does need to be rules. Without rules, you're lost.
I mean, it's what differentiates certain people seeing the content they want to see versus what they don't want to see and kicking up a fuss for someone that doesn't even matter to them. When you can separate all these situations and all these differences, then it keeps people a lot happier.
Well, that's the thing. The debate is, can a legacy be valid if its most famous moment is its most shameful? I'm going to say it can be, because at the end of the day, one moment doesn't define the man. At the end of the day, or the woman or whatever, right? Was it a good moment? No. It shouldn't have happened, probably. But it stemmed probably the most important time of YouTube where they actually went, right, let's become serious now.
Yeah.
So now people earn more money. There's more people earning more money. Everyone has actually come out of it better, whether they were worse off short term or not.
Yeah.
But everyone that has been able to stick through it, because I know some people quit the YouTube channels and stuff like that, or returned when the money came back, and also because they left, the views weren't there anymore because they'd left their audience high and dry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there is a lot of that as well. In the grand scheme of things, it had one of the biggest polarizing positive effects on the platform that has ever existed. So I'm going to say it's completely valid.
Absolutely. You know, everyone has shameful moments throughout their life, and it's not necessarily something that can always be avoided. Could this one have been avoided? Yes. But did it happen anyway? Yes. But I believe that YouTube's changed so much more for the better, and I think anyone who understands what's going on would agree.
So, valid?
Valid.
Valid. At the end of round 1, we are now tied. 2 for valid and 2 for tap. Now moving on, we are moving into the Hall of Fame round, in which it pretty much is about his legacy and his impact. I know some of these controversies go into these things, but at the end of the day, you've got to separate the man from the issues. And there was a lot of good things that did come out of him, and a lot of very pivotal moments that are because of him. First, you got to look at the opera effect. Felix single-handedly turned niche games like Happy Wheels and Skate 3 into global hits. He basically built the Let's Play genre. Did he democratize gaming, or did he create a screaming for views meta that ruined the platform's quality? But before PewDiePie was famous and got to his #1 spot, you had Smosh, you had Niga Higa, and they were putting out like planned skits, proper episodic style mini show format things, and then PewDiePie comes along and twice a day, 3 times a day, post an unedited gaming clip with just you going, I hate you, man. No, the barrel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he did serialize content in the sense of quantity over quality.
Yeah.
So I would say he did probably make a dip in that essence, but to be fair, people watched.
Yeah. I also think that by the beginning of YouTube mostly being people doing skits and, like you said, episodic based content, to have someone like PewDiePie come out and start by filming himself playing games, different kinds of games, varying from comedy to horror, it gave other people that inspiration to go, oh, I don't have to be a good actor, I can just sit in my...
Oh, you mean like it was relatable?
Yeah, like you could sit at a PC and you can just play a game and chuck it online.
Yeah.
It gave people that realization, oh, I could do this.
Yeah.
And I could have fun doing it.
Yeah.
So I think that inspired the next generation of YouTubers and gamers.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think you've always got to look at it from this one point of view. You either choose to press on a video or you don't. And it wasn't just one video that got loads of views. It wasn't just 2. It wasn't just 3. It wasn't just 4. It was hundreds to thousands.
Yeah.
You know, did the platform pretty much abandon quality for a while? Yes, it did. But, you know, everything goes in waves. I'm sure we'll end up back there in a couple of years. People like, all this AI TV style content's not why I tuned into YouTube in the first place.
Yeah.
So then people start going back to these old school people, which are just more relatable. I actually like him. It feels real. You know what I mean? It's not just like a random TV production. If I wanted to watch TV, I'd turn it on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure we will end up back there.
Yeah.
He did just create screaming for your views in a way, but it worked.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, it didn't ruin the platform's quality though.
No.
I think what he did was valid. At the end of the day, he just made relatable content.
Yeah.
People were inclined towards it. People still enjoyed the Niga Higa and the Smosh style skit challenge, you know what I mean? Whereas actual like mini home indie production style
Yeah.
things. But there was obviously a gap in the market. He filled it.
Yeah.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Exactly.
You know, you can't hate on him for people watching his videos.
Yeah.
He didn't make people watch him. He didn't go into people's rooms, get him in a headlock and go, "You're going to watch me play the Walking Dead Telltale games. You're going to sit here for an hour and watch me play the game. Or else." You know what I mean? He didn't just go in there and stop backing people out in the face. You know what I mean? Backing in there with a baton going, "I'm going to bat on your head, mate." You know what I mean? That just didn't happen.
I'm going to say he was valid because at the end of the day, it opened up a new section of YouTube. It allowed people to be inspired by gaming, other more diluted and simple content. You know, it didn't need to be big and performative. It just had to be, oh, well, I can do this. So I'm going to watch him play it, and I'm going to go play it. Or, oh, that's a really good idea. I can go film myself playing a game. It just made content fun. Well, you can earn money and play games.
Yeah.
What more do most of the population want, really?
Yeah. You're saying valid, is it?
I'm saying valid.
All right, sweet. Right. The next one was the T-Series war. The individual man versus the corporate. It was man versus machine. The churning company, which had many employee versus one man and a couple editors. Pretty much was what it was.
Yeah.
But a lot of YouTubers all banded into him. That's pretty much where Mr. Beast started. Then he's inclined that war. That's pretty much what made Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
The start of it, obviously. Obviously, he had like KSI and whatnot back him up. You had his friends, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier and whatnot. You had a lot of YouTubers all band together, and they didn't want to see some corporate entity become the number one on YouTube. They wanted to see their homegrown talent, so to speak, stay on top, whether they liked him or not. He was pretty much our final hope.
Yeah.
That's the way in which a lot of the YouTubers were seeing it. I think they thought if companies started getting the number one spot, YouTube was going to die out.
Yeah.
And it was going to become too corporate, and it's going to be exactly what it was intended not to be. I think that's what a lot of creators were thinking in that scenario.
Yeah.
The subscribe to PewDiePie movement united the internet against a corporate entity. So that's what we were just speaking about.
Yeah.
Was this the most valid moment in internet history, or was the obsession with being number one a tapped ego trip?
Oh. I don't think it was a tapped ego trip in the sense that it was all a very innocent.
To be fair, a lot of it wasn't even him, was it?
No, it was kind of everyone, like fans and other YouTubers, and people wanted to see him.
I think it did start with the fans. I think they started making videos
Yeah.
where they'd go into like random places, and you know how like KSI in the UK did these.
The sax man.
No, the Welcome to Beast stuff, where people would go into public places and go, "Welcome to Beast."
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like just shout out in like the middle of a canteen or
Yeah.
exam hall and stuff like that. It was sort of like that, where it was pretty much people getting views and stuff from doing the most creative way of getting people to subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Beast did like loads of billboards and stuff like that on
Yeah.
like highways and stuff like that and popular roads. And I think, that's where a lot of the YouTubers and stuff jumped on the movement. I think a lot of people, it was actually self-interest rather than getting people to subscribe to PewDiePie. I think a lot of people were like, oh, I can get some views out of this bad boy.
Yeah.
You know, game's the game.
Game is the game. But the way I see it is it was a more than innocent enough movement. I mean, it wasn't even PewDiePie's intention. He was just in the race. He just was in the right place at the right time, I guess you could say.
That's fair. If it was someone else, number one, I'm pretty sure he would have jumped on it in the sense of, I want to help them keep this top dog. Do you know what I mean? I think it was public enemy number one T-Series.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just didn't want to see that happen. So whether you were on his team or not, you were on his team for this battle.
Yeah.
It's sort of like in the movies when you get that anti-hero, or you get like the main villain from like movie number one.
Yeah.
And you get the hero now in movie number two. It's like there's a bigger, badder villain. They're both like we're going to have to team up for
Yeah.
this one. That's pretty much what happened, wasn't it? But obviously, it did lead to a couple bad things. You had the Christchurch thing,
Yeah.
where the crazed individual who had mental health issues had ran into a place of worship, and
Yeah.
he had unalived a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And part of this, I think he was live streaming on Facebook Live, I think it
Something
was.
like that.
And he was running around, and after he'd done what he did, no, he was in the car when he'd said it, he went, subscribe to PewDiePie. And
Yeah.
that is what ultimately ended PewDiePie's interest in the movement. I think the movement did continue after this for a few
Yeah.
months and whatnot, but I think PewDiePie himself, he didn't put out, it was either a tweet or a video, he put out a statement in which he said,
Yeah.
this needs to end now, it's gone beyond what it should have been.
Yeah.
I think he was always a bit hesitant for it, because he's never really cared if he was number one or not. He just sort of, I think that's part of the reason why he was number one, because at that point of YouTube, it was all about being relatable, and he was relatable to a lot of people, and he was pretty much anti the way in which YouTube was going towards anyway. He was very...
It's just a shame that it then became a battle of who can bring PewDiePie down first on these media outlets that didn't even...
like the Wall Street Journal and stuff.
Yeah. It's just a case of like, look, you have no idea what happened behind the cameras, behind the scenes, but when you're talking about two different people in two different completely different areas of the world, it's like you can't blame PewDiePie for something that he didn't even have interest in the first place. His name was only dragged into it because it was about him. Let's everyone subscribe to PewDiePie so he can be number one on YouTube.
I know what you mean. I'm going to say it was probably the most valid moment in history of the internet anyway. T-Series ended up winning.
Yeah.
But then Mr. Beast, Part 2, the sequel, the movie, he then defeated them, and now he's got like double their subscribers or something like that. It's crazy.
And to be fair, we did get a song from PewDiePie out of it.
We got two.
We got two songs from PewDiePie out of it.
Yeah. He is the Mozart of YouTube, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is valid. It basically created a real big community of people, just people who wanted to see someone they looked up to succeed.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really wholesome.
Round 3 is the blueprint, in which is pretty much about his evolution and his influence on a platform. It is the philosophical retirement, Zen Felix, someone would call him. In his yoga era. Yes. Downward dogging and all that.
Something like that.
Yes, the downward dog. Felix stopped chasing the algorithm and now vlogs about picking up trash in Japan and reading Stoicism. He has given up the throne to find peace, the most valid exit strategy, or is it tapped to keep an 110 million subscribed channel alive just for boring home movies?
He had his big moments, and as we've already talked about, he is one of the main guys of YouTube, one of the people from back in the day. When you think of OG YouTube, you think of PewDiePie.
Yeah.
And the man's got family now. He has a kid. You know, if where he wants to be is out in Japan, living his family life and just doing what he wants, then he's earned every right to do so, I think.
Also, devil's advocate, though. That's the thing, if you can, why not? Sure. I can see that point, right? But that's the thing, he went from being one of the most relatable guys on the platform, and that's why people used to watch him, right? And that's why he got so big. And I'd say by retiring at the young age of, like, what is it, 32, or he's in his 30s or something, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's quite young. So he's retiring early. That's what he wants. Fair play, you know what I mean? I ain't got an issue with it. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to be retiring if I'm still in full employment until I'm like 68.
Yeah.
So people go, oh, so nice. I'm so happy for him. I'm not. I'm not happy for him. Keep grafting, mate. You've got like 30 years. You know, you're meant to be paying for my pension. No, but to be fair, it's all about what he wants to do. But I personally think with a channel and influence that big at the young age that he's at,
yeah.
I don't know. If it were me personally, I'd be looking back at myself in 20 years' time going, I probably should have done more with it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing enough of it, so I'm going to say it's tapped.
Oof. I'm sticking to my guns. You know, I think everything he's doing, that's up to him. Does he have that big audience and big influence? Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, he's clearly got himself to a point where he's pretty content. So I'm going to say it's valid.
And the final point of the video. He breaks every growth rule, trolls his fans, and tells people not to subscribe. The debate. Is his I don't care attitude actually a valid blueprint for creator mental health? Or is it only possibly because he's already a multi-millionaire, making it tapped advice for everyone else? Is he steering people in the wrong direction?
Okay, I've got a fun take on this one.
Yeah.
If he's asking people not to subscribe, I think it's reverse psychology. Because a lot of the jokes, right, is you go, oh, don't tell me not to do it because now I want to do it. Don't push that big red button. Oh, well, now I want to push it. I don't care if I'm going to blow something up. I want to press a button. You've told me not to now. So it's almost like incentive for people, you know. Oh, don't subscribe. Why would you do that? Oh, well, I'm going to subscribe now because you told me not to. It's that kind of that fun little battle that people like to have.
Yeah, I can see that. There you got KSI doing that right now on his second channel. I think every video is like, do not subscribe to this channel. Exactly. Or something like, I think he's got to think, if this channel does get this, I'm gonna have to like shave my head or something like silly like that. Oh, I can see that, but I think at the end of the day, especially when it comes to someone of his standard, someone in which was the GOAT of YouTube for a long time, the top of the creme de la creme, the top of the totem pole. You know, it's quite different for me. When you are a smaller creator, you're just in the big ocean. You know, there is less expectation. There's less people looking at your standard and looking at you and going, right, that's how I need to be. Because they're like, well, I'm doing just fine myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when you're right at the top, it's like if you work in a place of employment, let's say you got a CEO up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a manager here and you got a worker down here. Yeah. If this worker sees the CEO spending half of their day chuffing cigarettes out the front, basically not doing any work, and then the manager is flying off his hinge at him, shouting at him, going, you need to be doing more work. I'm not here to be doing your job for you. This, that, and the other, right? The employee's then going to go, that's the thing, the employee's not going to then just stand up and go, well, should I be running the company for you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to look at that. They're going to look at the people that are at the top of the line and they're going to go, oh, I'm going to give as much for shit as they do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they're going to stop caring themselves. So then it sets a bad precedent. I think when you're in a position that he was in, whether he asked to be there or not, he's there.
Yeah.
That is just how it is. He is there. And I think in a lot of incidents, he did set bad precedences in which actually did set some creators back when it came to the amount of effort they should be putting into their content.
Yeah.
I think it did set a lot of people back. At the same time, though, it did put a lot of people forward because it gave that opening for people to overtake him.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that might have overtook him had he not have set that precedent that you should just lay back, tell him you don't care. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I think for me, I'm going to say it was tapped advice for everyone else.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go tapped again.
Purely based on what I said, could also be a joke between him and the fans. Because he's not the only one to do it. Like you said, KSI is doing it at the moment. I'm going to say he's valid for it because at the end of the day, people are going to subscribe anyway.
Yeah.
Because they inevitably they have the choice. Oh, he's telling me not to subscribe. Okay, I won't then.
Like so, man.
Or he's telling me not to subscribe. Oh, well, I'm going to out of spite. You know, he doesn't really lose or gain anything from it anyways. People are going to do what they're going to do.
So you're going valid, eh?
I am indeed going valid.
The final score is in this episode of Valid or Tapped, and we have our final verdict on whether PewDiePie is valid or tapped. And he's valid. He is won at an 8-4 valid to tapped ratio. Wow. I mean, he is just, based on these prompts, valid on today's episode. If you think any of our takes in this episode were wild, then let us know what you think in the comments down below. And if you want to know why the fans of Stranger Things turned on them, then you need to stand here. Look at me when I'm talking to you. You need to look at me. You need to press on this video right here that is just underneath her face. And you need to watch that video to find out why the fans did turn on Stranger Things. Because you don't want to miss out on why. Now subscribe. I said subscribe.
Subscribe.
Now.